why don't you just go fudge yourself? Welcome back to My Killer Podcast, everybody. My name is Mel, and today we are going to be talking about Gunpowder Milkshake. Today we are going to be doing a movie review of Netflix's Gunpowder Milkshake. This hour and 54-minute action thriller got a 5.9 rating on IMDb, 68% Rotten Tomatoes, and 73% of Google users liked this film. It stars, I'm gonna serial slaughter all of these names. I always do. It never fails. You think I would do my homework prior to just to figure out how you're supposed to say them. But I didn't think of that until just now. However, Karen Gillan, Lena, it's either Headey or Headley. No, it's either Headey or Hetty. I don't know which one it is. But she's amazing and I love her so much. Chloe Coleman, Carla Gugino, Michelle Yeoh, and Angelina Bassett. It was released July 14th, 2021, so very recently, by Netflix, and it had a very limited theatrical release. So the film opens up in a flashback of our leading lady, Karen Gillan, as a young Sam waiting for her professional assassin mom, Scarlett, to come share a milkshake with her in a diner. Of course, the situation goes to shit right quick, and Scarlett is forced to abandon Sam in an effort to save her life, leaving her in the care of Nathan, played by Paul Giamatti, who works for a dark corporation called The Firm. The same firm that Scarlett, Sam's mom, had previously worked for. Flash forward to present time, Sam is now currently a professional assassin just like her mom. Now commence a slew of bullets, action-packed fight scenes, arm paralysis, and gore, which includes death by hammer, chains, axes, and so much more. It's brilliant and amazing. This movie has great atmosphere, the soundtrack is amazing, and the cinematography is outstanding. The color in this movie is everything that I hoped and dreamed for, and much more. Matches my background, because you guys know that I love my brights and neons, and this movie is chocked full of them. Every scene of the movie, there's something beautiful to look at, even if you're not paying attention to the characters. There's something in the background that's glowing and interesting to look at. And not to mention, all the leading actresses in this movie are hot and they kick fucking ass. That is worth every minute. So a lot of people are comparing this movie to John Wick, and I went into it not really sure if I was going to agree, but after I watched the whole thing, I do. It is very reminiscent of John Wick. You just add a bunch of hot women and some fine-ass humor, and you've got Gunpowder Milkshake. Yes, there are several comedic moments, punchlines, one-liners in this movie, but this movie is very self-aware, so it all works together. There's also this mother and daughter dynamic that just works out really well in this movie. It's very emotional, but it's quirky yet fun. Lena Headey and Karen Gillan, they play off of each other really well in this movie. You can tell that they really love and care for each other as a mother-daughter duo, but yet they're forced in this situation where they have to kill a bunch of people. There's even a moment at the end of the movie where Scarlett tells Sam that there's nobody else she'd rather kill people with. Heartwarming. So even though there's not a lot of the mother-daughter relationship throughout the movie in its entirety, you see it in the beginning and you see most of it in the third act of the movie, but the performances really brought this relationship out and brought it to light, and the two characters together really made that relationship dynamic when there was very little of it to work with. I'm really hoping that in the sequel they bring more of that out. They tell more of that story. They show more of the mother-daughter dynamic, because I feel like that is really the most emotional part of this whole movie. So we talked about how Karen and Lena killed it in their performances, but I just want to blanket state that most of the actors in this film slayed their performances, which brought the whole movie to life and made it so much fun and so watchable. This movie has high rewatchability, and that is one of the things that I base a lot of my movie reviews, ratings, recommendations on is, do I want to watch this movie again? And this one, I would say I will be watching this over and over and over. And I would like to talk about the poster art of this movie. Check it out here. This poster art is amazing. I want this on the physical media release. I want to see, this is what I would like to see for this movie. I would like to see this artwork on the actual movie, and then I would like to see the milkshake as a super squishy matte slip. That would be the ultimate release for me for Gunpowder Milkshake, is to have both artworks, because I like them both. I like the one that shows all the hot chicks, but then the milkshake one is probably one of the best art pieces for a film I've seen in modern movies. So whoever is going to release this movie into the physical media world, please use this artwork. Use the poster artwork for the release of the movie. Give it a squishy slip. This movie deserves a squishy slip. And this is the slip I want to see. I want to see that milkshake. Bullet going through it. The colors, the imagery. I want that. That is my physical release for this movie recommendation. Thank you. So I did want to mention one of my favorite parts of this movie. I'm going to try and do it spoiler-free. I've been trying to do this whole thing spoiler-free. Maybe I'm leaving too much out by trying to do that. I don't know. But there's a fight scene in this movie. It ended up being my favorite scene ever. But Sam ultimately ends up getting her arms paralyzed by one of the doctors in the film. And then she has to fight off 3 henchmen. And so she has Emily, who is played by Chloe Coleman. She has her tape a knife into one hand and tape a gun into the other with her finger taped to the trigger. And then she just gets pushed out into the hallway in this chair and commence a gory arm-slinging fight scene where she kills these 3 henchmen, just flailing her arms around with these weapons in her hands because her arms are paralyzed and she can't move them. It's one of the best fight scenes of the film. I can't say enough good things about this fight scene. It is just amazing. Karen S. Sam rocks this fight scene to the core. It's gory, it's gross, it's bloody, it's action-packed, it's everything that I wanted in a fight scene, and it is exactly what this movie needed. And it's also pretty funny. To watch this movie specifically just to check out that fight scene would be totally worth it, in my opinion. I'm going to throw out a killer award here. It goes to the best kill of the film. There were so many kills in this movie. It was hard. It was hard to pick just one kill that stood out to me as being the best kill because there's so many of them. So I just picked the one that was the most ironic and kind of hilarious. Is in the beginning, there's masked men kidnapped Emily, the little girl, and was holding her for ransom. And during the switch for the money for the girl situation, they're all wearing masks. Well, one of them is wearing a Dracula mask, and then later, inevitably and ironically, gets stabbed in the heart with a wooden stake. And blood just like everywhere. It was funny, it was hilarious. I actually didn't even catch that the first time I watched it, and I had a good giggle about it my second time through. It was pretty funny. So in the end, this movie was fun. It was entertaining. It was a wild ride. It has high rewatchability. If you want to check out my Letterboxd review on it, check me out over there. I have a full review on it. And I'm going to say this movie killed it. I recommend giving it a watch. You can find it on Netflix. If you subscribe to them, you can watch it for free. And hopefully at some point we'll get a killer release of this movie. Because, man, if I get that squishy slipcover, I am going to be so happy! But I'm going to leave you like I always do. Please like, subscribe, and kill that bell for me. Share me with your friends if you want to support my channel and help keep my dream alive and yourselves entertained. It is much appreciated. And I will catch you in the next video. But until then, have a killer day.